In the same place, there was a rich man whose son was a naughty boy. One day, the lad came to the weaver and asked what was the price of the sari he was selling. The man replied, 3 rupees, the price in those days. The lad tore the sari into half and asked, what was the price of half the sari? The weaver replied, 1 rupee and a half. The lad tore it again into 2 and asked, what was the price of the torn piece? The man replied, it is worth 12 annas, that is 3/4 of a rupee. The weaver did not get angry at the lad's behavior. He was calm and unruffled. The young lad was astonished. He asked the weaver, how did you acquire the quality of forbearance? The man replied, forbearance is truth. It is right conduct. It is non-violent. It is a source of great joy. It is heaven itself. It is the summum bonum of this world. There is nothing greater than forbearance in this world. And guess who this weaver was? It was our great poet, Thiruvalluvar. In the last couple of weeks, in the process of preparing for this speech, I have read so many things about him on the web. Some said that Thiruvalluvar was a weaver by profession. Some said he was probably from a Brahmin descent. Some said he was a king similar to Gautam Buddha. And all said he was a great poet. But the best description that summarized him and his work, Thirukkural, was from the great Tamil poetess, Aviyar Patti, who was one of his contemporaries. She described Valluvar as, Valluvar has packed inside an atom the essence of all knowledge from the broad world spanned by 7 seas. Now, you would probably ask me why this was the best description. This is because, just imagine when you get a praise from your competitor. Wouldn't that be the best praise you've ever had? And also, I'm amazed to find that the concept of an atom had established in Tamil Nadu 2,000 years back. But if it is such an amazing piece of literature, it should not be restricted to be hanged within the classrooms of Tamil Nadu, nor should it be limited to the forums of only intellectuals and elders. It must get through to us, the children of the Indian diaspora, isn't it? We should also be able to quote from the Quran, just the way our parents and grandparents quote so spontaneously as an occasion demands. History records that the Thirukkural has survived more than 2,000 years, and till date it continues to fascinate the world. It has been observed that the intelligence of the Tamil race has flourished to perfection in this great author. In fact, it has been remarked that the real magnitude of the Thirukkural is its survival, and therefore it is only but fair that as the children of the Tamil diaspora, we should all be given an opportunity to be able to share this treasure of golden Kurals and inspire ourselves from it. In this connection, please let me narrate a few of the inspiring Kurals in their English translation, where the poet says, the deeper you dig, the greater the spring. The more you learn, the greater the knowledge. Here is another one that is really inspiring. Let the thoughts be always great and progressive. It will not be a loss, even if success eludes. No wonder, as Dr. Abdul Kalam said, the Thirukkurals can be hailed as an eternal light that will continue to inspire the world even today. Great world leaders like Mahatma Gandhi also got the spark from Thirukkural, and from him Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and many more leaders who fought against oppression and tyranny, following the non-violent way preached by the Thirukkural. These leaders believed that the voice of Thiruvalluvar is indeed the guiding star that can lead humanity in the path of virtues, which are bound to make us better human beings. In this scenario, it would be significant to recall how inspired by Thiruvalluvar and the Kurals, Mahatma Gandhi said, "I have learned Tamil only to enable me to study Thiruvalluvar's Kural through his mother tongue itself. There is none who is given such a treasure of wisdom like him." Before I conclude, I would like to share an interesting event that occurred 2,000 years back, where this great masterpiece, Thirukkural, was put to a divine test. It is said that upon completion of his work, Thiruvalluvar took the work to Madurai. It was a practice in those days to read out new compositions in public forum held at Madurai, where critics and scholars would be present to assess. The scholars at Madurai insisted on measuring the greatness of the work through a test where the manuscript would be placed with other works on a plank kept afloat of the Meenakshi temple. And if the plank remained floating on the tank, it would be an evidence of divine acknowledgement of that piece of composition or work. And guess what happened? It is said that to the amazement of the critics, the sunken plank shrunk itself in size to hold only the Kural manuscript, and in the process, throwing out the rest. Thus, this legend proves that perhaps even God had acknowledged the Kural as a masterpiece. When I discussed this with my dad, he said, just as Shakespeare and Milton needs to be read in English, the Kurals probably need to be read in Tamil. This is because the beauty of Thirukkural, its poetry, and how 7 words can make so much sense. The real essence is actually lost when read in translation. I do understand what he means, and I am sure you all do. Nevertheless, considering my limitation, I have to accept that even though in its English translation, it has been a golden opportunity for me to get an insight into this great poet and his work. And I thank you all for providing me this scope. In conclusion, I would like to quote Dr. Lon Lazarus, who made an English translation of the Kural, where he says, "It is refreshing to think of a nation which produced so great a man and so unique a work. The morality he preached could not have grown except on an essentially based soil." Thank you for listening to me.